All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. It's live on KEXP, and I'm your host, Troy Nelson, from listener-powered independent 90.3 FM KEXP in Seattle and 92.7 in San Francisco. And we are streaming 24/7 at KEXP.org and our free mobile apps. And these live performances are made possible by people just like you. So thank you so much for supporting KEXP. We are all very excited. We've been waiting a while for this one right here in the KEXP live room. I have got these fine young gentlemen. We are talking about John Davis and Lou Barlow, and together they are the Folk Implosion. And if you're all ready, take it away.
Witness to me coming out of the cave with that morning feeling. See if I behave, 'cause I'm the moonlit kind that can't say no. Don't unwind, I just go. Don't let me complicate it. Oh, that's easy for me. I can't get any stranger with your way of setting me free. So I can touch the sky, but still go low. I don't unwind, I just go. Go high and touch the sky, still go low. I don't unwind, just go through a crack in the sky. Freedom is a do or die until I change my mind. Oh, your soul, it's what I miss when I leave. I've always wanted to believe that there's a reason. To believe that there's a reason.
You are listening to the Folk Implosion live on KEXP.
Well, I don't care if vultures take me and they drag me to their prison in the sky. 'Cause I know somehow you come and save me, and I've lived a few forevers in your eyes. Your spirit is strong, go on, walk through me, and in your wake, leave me a taste, talk through me. Well, I bought the thought that out to get me, and they're chasing me through rivers like I'm prey. But you're the only one to eat me, and I'm learning to receive what keeps me safe. Your spirit is strong, go on, walk through me, and in your wake, leave me a taste, talk through me. You gotta be the one you love to be the one you love to be the one you love to be in love. Well, the world is full, about to break me with your words and your grace. Hold my ground. You give me all the strength I need. If I use it or abuse it, wait and see. Your spirit is strong, go on, walk through me, and in your wake, leave me a taste, talk through me. Your spirit is strong, go on, walk through me, and in your wake, leave me a taste, talk through me.
not swallow the day you die. Did I see you drumming all together now with shaking hands? I smiled and cried. I stood by your side. I used to turn away. I ran my finger down the arches of your brow. You students all knew them so well. The black wings did not fly away from where you lay choking to death. 'Cause your mind was so acute, so strange and so astute. Couldn't even tell your tongue what to do, so you couldn't swallow, whistle, or chew. But in the house that held your fate, I took the vow. You made me make the blood to give the drug to let you die. With dignity and with pride. I told the doctor that you always had been clear. Your life would not deny your death. Let him go. He said no, just like your father taught you to. Now I learn from you.
You are listening to the one and only Folk Implosion live on KEXP.
My little lamb got himself so lost, he couldn't swallow her remorse. My little baby, she don't want saving, she don't want saving, that's her right. If they they believe, well, that's not up to me. They've gotta wander on their own. So buckle up, your word is not enough. The more I say, the less they know. It's on a watch, see them turn and toss between whatever and the wire. Always, never, razor feather, the weather changing all the time. If they believe, well, that's not up to me. They've got to wander on their own. So cuddle up when your word is not enough. Where it's warm, they want to go. If they believe, well, that's not up to me. And I don't know what I don't know. So cuddle up, your words are not enough. The more I give, the more they'll grow. The one natural one, make it easy. We can take it inside. I can have it 'cause I act like I love it. It's a matter of pride. Yeah, we can take it. Good lives on an endless spree. It's good because we made it. And when mama's not around, there's no telling what we'll do when we're free.
It is the Folk Implosion, live right here on KEXP. John Davis, Lou Barlow, thank you all so much for taking the time to do this.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. And it's just awesome having you here in the KEXP live room. And Lou, I know our paths have crossed many times over the years, but the last time that we were inside the KEXP walls together was August 13th, 2013, when you were here with Sebadoh, and that was at the old KEXP location.
Was it the old one?
That was at the old one, and then we...
you and I.
Yes,
right.
yes, you and I,
Okay.
and we moved over here
Yep.
soon after, and then you've been here a couple times since. So,
yep.
yes, love having the Folk Implosion here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the whole Folk Implosion project started out as sort of an escape from the indie world you were so immersed in the 90s, and even though that world is, in fact, a huge part of your lives. But Lou, you grew up listening to the radio, and in a year like 1980, let's say, you're hearing REO Speedwagon and the Vapors and the B-52s, but also Grandmaster Flash and the Ohio Players, a very wonderful and wild period of pop music.
Yeah.
And that spoke to you as well. Was the Folk Implosion born out of wanting to blend some of those sounds as well?
Yeah, for sure. It was just, I just wanted to mix everything that I was listening to. I think things seem so structured. I mean, it was like you were metal or you were indie or you were this or you were that in the 90s. And it seemed so constrictive. And I think John and I had such a wonderful communication with each other, and we just loved talking about music. And our conversations extended into a musical conversation. And yeah, we went right to just melding new wave and also I don't know. John, what you want to elaborate on this?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, there's certainly things that we did on a 4-track, like on our first record, but we were talking about people like Al Green and the Bee Gees in the sense that Lou played drums on a song called Slap Me that we did that on our first record, and we were listening to the Bee Gees, and we were like, in the Al Green, we were like, there's one kick drum beat, there's no backbeat, it's like boom, bop. And that kind of, even though it's not a drum machine, right, that's sort of like restraint and letting sort of a feel or a vibe kind of take precedence over a lot of fills, and similarly like reducing guitar chords. So just making more space to sort of make it more dynamic in the interactions. But definitely we kind of, there was a contrariness to being like, yeah, we really do like, Staying Alive, and Al Green really is, Call Me really is my favorite record. So I think that, just that kind of, and that's related to just kind of like, who do I think is an important person, right? And sort of who's worth listening to in life, not just music. Yeah.
Absolutely. And John, going back to your beginnings, your dad being a high school teacher who introduced you to albums like Ornette Coleman's The Shape of Jazz to Come, and when you were in 8th grade, and then also the album Freak Out by the Mothers of Invention. And with your father's passing, there's a sweet song on this new album called The Day You Died, which you had played, and there is a lyric where it says, did I see you drumming all together now?
Oh, thank you for picking up on that.
Can you elaborate on what that lyric is referencing and its connection to your dad?
My father died from Alzheimer's disease or complications from it. And so, music is a great way to reach people with Alzheimer's disease in late stages. And I was lucky enough that he still knew who I was when he died. He hadn't gotten that far. But, I played him a lot of those songs that he would play. I played him Susie Cream Cheese, What's Gotten Into You from the Freak Out album, which is one of my earliest memories of seeing that album around. And I played him All Together Now by the Beatles. And he, his hands were shaking like this, but he still... on the break was all together now, you bang on the mattress. And I just was so proud that he could still enjoy himself, even though his body was kind of literally falling, apart before my eyes. But just, I was just really proud of it made me, think about music in a new way, just to use it to connect to someone who's dying from Alzheimer's, and just see how, despite his reduced capacity, in a lot of ways, I could kind of get to this core of our connection through playing him all different kinds of things, right at the end.
Yeah.
In the hospital.
It shows kind of another power that music has as well. And it's hard to not talk about the history of the folk implosion and without touching on the 1995 movie Kids and your involvement with the soundtrack. And before that, you were, like you said, recording on 4-tracks and cassette recorders, some very lo-fi recordings. And even some of the lo-fi recordings ended up in the movie. But I want to know what it was like when London Records told you, hey, we booked you a bunch of studio time in this very professional recording studio. What was that like? Were you just two kids in a candy store?
Yeah, I had been recording at Fort Apache since the 80s, since 1988, I would think, with Dinosaur Jr. We did the Bug record there. So, and I went in so I was very familiar with the space. So the studio was not intimidating to me, where it would have been otherwise, but it wasn't because I had been there. So yeah, it was like free studio time, like, wow. And then John and I were we had just kind of gotten together and done our first record on 4-track, Take a Look Inside. And had we started the second record, Dare to Be Surprised? I'm not sure.
No,
we hadn't.
We've done that sort of like the Red single, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we had done some other.
We did another EP.
But I just thought, who better to go? Because it was all about just exchanging ideas and collaborating, and I thought, this is great. Let's just do this together.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, it was sort of like walking into this familiar studio, but have you ever, what is it like you sing to some kind of snails and they come out of their shell, you know? So we were just like using the studio, and we were going through the closet, and, we're trying to write stuff for a scene rather than a pre-recorded song, and we were pulling out different kinds of instruments that people don't usually use when they go there. And people in the office next door heard us recording this stuff and with all these different instrumentation, and they kind of walked into the room and they were like, what's going on in here? I don't hear huge guitar cabinets and thundering drum kits. And so we, it just was kind of I think a lot of the records we made, we walk into a recording space and see, what do you have here? That, so they had an old oscillator that looked kind of like a toaster oven like this, and we used that to double a kick drum, or using we recorded a push broom on a plywood board, or just a saxophone. It was just really fun, a unique experience to get the budget to do that for a film without having to sign a major label contract and have this pressure of you're going to do this one formula that's going to make a hit. And that's just was a great opportunity to have.
Yeah,
it was like kids in a candy store. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like I said, some of the lo-fi stuff ended up in the movie. I think I saw somewhere, Lou, you were talking about how, it would be something you had recorded on a cassette player or something, and then it ends up in a movie on the big screen, and hearing that lo-fi juxtaposed with this, big movie, that must have been quite a unique feeling.
I was really excited about that. I thought it sounded great. I still don't know why it's not done more often.
Yeah.
I just, it was... Harmony Korine there were things that he had picked from some of my solo cassettes, one of which is this sort of piece, this sort of real atmospheric piece that's not even a 4-track. It was just all handheld, just layered with a very cheesy little sampling keyboard, a Casio. But it was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. And of course, the song Natural One just blew up, and thank you for playing that here. I've heard many people cover that song. Is there any cover of Natural One that sticks out to you?
I've only heard one personally.
I've heard two.
Okay.
I've heard Shearwater, and I've heard I can't remember the Blonde Fire did one.
Okay.
Which was actually our producer, Wally Gagel, and his wife.
Oh, fun.
I think Wally saw that there was a vacuum. There was, for a long time, Natural One was not available, streaming or
Interesting.
At all. So it wasn't available, and he just made another version of it.
This song needs to exist.
Yeah, he sort of saw a space to fill, so he did it. But
yeah.
I've only heard those two.
Yeah. The Shearwater one was the top of my list. They did a good job.
Jen Wasner sang that, and I love her.
Yeah, me too.
I love Wyoke, and I had toured with them, and so that was kind of cool.
Same.
I think there was some cabaret kind of performance in L.A. that was it wasn't like a record.
I'll tell you what my favorite one was. I was watching I saw part of a Tony Robbins infomercial, and I heard this very canned sort of Muzak-y version of it.
Right.
He walked out on stage to this sort of Muzak version of Natural One, and I thought, I don't know where I go from here.
Wow. They
amazing.
didn't want to pay for the original. They had to create.
Right.
Yeah, and I did it karaoke once. I was hanging out with Sleater Kinney in Portland. I was hanging out with Sleater Kinney. It was the only time, really. Well, that's not entirely true. But we went karaokeing, and they had Natural One in the big book, and yeah, Janet Weiss insisted. She just walked up and like, this guy's got to cut the line because, karaoke is very competitive. Yeah. So, people really wait for their turns, but she just walked up and she said, this guy wrote the song and he's got to do it now. And they were like, okay. So I did it.
I did it. We had a teachers union. I work in the Durham, North Carolina public school district. We had a teachers union Christmas party where they had a karaoke machine. And I did Natural One there, and I that was,
please.
And I just told most people there don't really know anything about that kind of music or whatever, and so I just was like, me and my partner, I just told the story of like, I kind of sang the song, but I kind of just told the story of how weird that whole experience of it coming out was, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, please tell me there's YouTube footage of these performances.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think that I remember like writing the top 5 from Casey Kasem's top 40 countdown on my desk in 5th grade in pencil every week. And, when like Cars by Gary Newman was on there. Yeah. So just like when we got a tape of that song being actually played by Casey Kasem and like, cool. Saying like it was just made me think of those.
That's amazing.
5th grade kind of thing.
That is amazing. And once again, thank you so much for all the years of fantastic music and the latest release, Walk Thru Me. Can we expect to hear even more new music from Folk Implosion going forward?
Eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, we started, we did a couple of days, and, we live in different states, and so we have a kind of installment plan. And he came down to Durham, and we laid down some basic tracks. So we're at the foothill of climbing another mountain right now.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you both so much for taking the time to do this. We appreciate having you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yes, absolutely. You've been listening to the Folk Implosion live on KEXP.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.